I'd like to call this meeting to order, January 17th, 2018. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a posting on the bulletin board in Village Hall, by mail to the Ridgewood News, the Record, and by submission to all persons entitled to same as provided by law of a schedule, including the date and time of this meeting. Roll call.
Councilman Halshay.
Here.
Councilman Seaton.
Here.
Councilman Voigt.
Here.
Councilwoman Walsh. Here. And Mayor Newsom.
Here. Please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join us in a moment of silence for men and women serving our nation and our first responders. Thank you. We just have a few items before we begin. So I move the bills, claims, and vouchers and statements of funds on hand as of December 31st, 2017 be accepted as submitted.
Second. Halshay.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move that the Village Council minutes of June 7th, June 28th, and December 13th, 2017, having been reviewed by the Village Council, now available in the Village Clerk's office, be approved as submitted.
Second.
Halshay.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Voigt.
Yes.
Walsh. Yes. And Newton.
Yes. With that, we have two proclamations. I'm actually going to begin with Jamboree Days. Whereas Jamboree was established in 1947 by Ridgewood residents in order to raise scholarship funds for Ridgewood High School students, and whereas Jamboree is an annual musical theatrical production which this year will have over 150 parents and guardians on stage and behind the scenes working in areas such as props, costumes, vocal, and choreography, as well as participation by members of the Ridgewood Board of Education. And whereas the theme of Jamboree this year is Jamboree Night Live, an original musical review. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood does hereby proclaim February 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, 2018 as Jamboree Days in the Village of Ridgewood, and thanks the current and past volunteers who have participated in Jamboree and distributed over $1 million in scholarships in the last decade to 150 graduating Ridgewood High School seniors. Thank you. And with that, we'll go to Councilman Voigt for Super Science Saturday.
Whereas Saturday, March 3rd, 2018 is the 30th annual Super Science Saturday, which is a community-wide family fair dedicated to the idea that science is exciting and fun, and whereas this event is billed as the greatest science extravaganza in northern New Jersey, and whereas more than 1,000 science lovers from Ridgewood and surrounding communities will flock to Ridgewood High School to see a host of science exhibits, workshops, and demonstrations, and whereas students from all of Ridgewood schools will be participating in the Hall of Science, and whereas Super Science Saturday appeals to everyone from the casual observer to the aspiring scientists, sparking an interest in students, adults, and organizations wishing to further explore their passion. And whereas some of the events will include an interactive show by the Liberty Science Center, indoor drone racing, the Great Paper Airplane Contest, outdoor drone racing, the 25-foot egg drop challenge, and a live rocket launch. And whereas this annual event was started 30 years ago by award-winning science teacher Jim Wallace to encourage families to share their scientific interests and talents, and is now run by a parents' committee of dedicated volunteers. And whereas this invaluable service to our youth has become a hallmark of goodwill and cooperation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood does hereby proclaim March 3rd, 2018 as Super Science Saturday in the Village of Ridgewood, and invites science enthusiasts of all ages to come to Ridgewood High School to join in the festivities.
Great, thank you. And now we're very excitedly going to be swearing in our two newest police officers. So why don't we all step down onto the floor. Before we begin, why don't I have our new officers, Officer... Come on up. Great. So you both just stand right here. So just have a little talk here with everybody. So we want to congratulate you for being here this evening, for making it all the way here. Just a few reminders. Ridgewood is a civil service community, so our newest officers went through the rigorous process of first participating in a very competitive civil service exam. They had to rank on the test, having passed and having an outstanding grade, because I believe you were both probably 1 and 2 on the list. After being hired and going through again, a very rigorous process, they then attended the Bergen County Police Academy. And for anyone who knows or has experienced it, many of the fellows in the back, that was a physically grueling, academically challenging, and emotionally draining experience. How many weeks were you there? 22 weeks at the Police Academy. And so this is really an achievement unto itself. So before we swear you in officially, we just want to say congratulations, great job, well deserved. So what we're going to do, I just want to make sure, is Officer Perez is first. They do this alphabetically, so come on up. Who's going to be holding the Bible for you today? Okay, and put your hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. Is anyone else coming up? Do you want the kids up here or anyone else? Come on, girls. Come on, come. All right. You want to just stand right. That's it. Perfect. Right there. Turn around and face everyone. Okay, you're going to repeat after me. Remember, okay. I,
Hector Perez,
do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States of America
support the Constitution of the United States of America,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all of the duties
perform all the duties
of Office of Police Officer
of office and police officer
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take everyone's hand.
I guess nothing's changed.
Oh. Okay. And who's going to be? All right. Hello. Come on up. You're going to hold the Bible. Why don't we have them come right here? Come on, right. Why don't you stay right there? Turn around. Big moment. All right. Ready? I
Miguel Torres Lopez.
do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States of America
Support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of Office of Police Officer
of the police officer
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. So congratulations again, and we wish you a long, wonderful, happy, healthy, and safe career. So congratulations. Thank you again. She's going to have like, you are like going to be, well, you already are. Fascinating how the room always empties out. Okay, great. With that, we'll go to public comments. Not to exceed 3 minutes per person for a total of 40 minutes.
Hi, Mayor and Council. My name is Ellie Gruber, and I'm representing tonight the Ridgewood Wildscape Association.
May I have your address, please?
Oh, yeah, 229 South Irving Street. Last week, after the presentation about the grant for Kings Pond, we sent you a letter thanking you for the grant and providing the matching funds, as well as suggestions to outline what we believe to be a good use for the money. As our letter indicated, the value of these areas cannot be exaggerated. They are unique. They are the last and only remaining forested areas and natural corridors on the entire Goffle Brook in both Bergen and Passaic counties. For the past 6 years, Wildscape and a tireless neighbor from Lakeview Ave have tried to make the village aware of this beauty by conducting walks, cleanups, promoting invasive plant control. We're really pleased that you have funded invasive plant controls along Kings Pond. However, the best protection for the park is indeed a multifaceted protection project, including a barrier. Last year, we sent a video to you explaining how a chain link fence to support a silt fence solid barrier would work. Last week, you heard that no fence could be high enough as the seeds will fly around. This is incorrect. These seeds are not spores to be spread in the wind. They are large, they are spread by water and land movement from a gentle rain to stormwater to landslides down from the steep slopes of the mulch facility into the delicate wetland forest of that needs protection. Now is the time to act, and the longer we wait, the more costly it will become. As for the other parts of the presentation, we're glad to know that the pavement for the parking lot will be permeable. However, we urge you to install green infrastructure with the curb and shrubbery, such as curb cutouts that funnel the stormwater into bioswales. And we provided some examples in our letter. As important, please have anything planted be native to Ridgewood and from a native source, not a cultivar. We need to preserve our natural heritage. Please consult with us about planting choices, as we're happy to provide species lists of plants that are suitable for curbside beds. As you know, Jean Epiphan, our resident ecologist, works at Rutgers University as a consultant. She's an ecological consultant to landscape architects and has worked on high-profile projects in this area and New York City, and Wildscape is very lucky to have her consult for us. Last, please plan for some sort of access from Kings to Gypsy. I believe you indicated walks along the far shore, but only the very young and the very nimble can get from Kings to Gypsy as the dam is broken. Again, we want to thank you for recognizing the value of these two beautiful areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Any other public comment? Okay. Just, I just want to bring up to speed on that fencing issue. The fence that we're talking about, the 6-foot fence and the silt fence, could not be covered in the grant, but we are looking at what our options might be. I believe that the village manager is taking a look at what those options so that we can ensure protection of that area, okay? All right, great. So with that, we're going on to the manager's report.
Okay, I want to just remind everyone on days like today when it's snowing or if it's icy, please remember to bring your garbage cans to the end of your driveways. Unfortunately, today we had a couple of employees who went sliding down driveways and were slightly injured. They're fine, but they were slightly injured. Also, I'd like to remind everyone that sidewalks must be cleared or shoveled within 24 hours of the snow falling. In a recent snowfall, days later, we did issue 60 summonses, so that is a possibility. I just urge you to please clear your sidewalks, and if you have a fire hydrant near your property, please clear the hydrant of snow as well. Parking deck, the responses to the RFP are due this Friday, January 19th, and results will be reported probably at our January 31st meeting. I wanted to mention that health inspection reports on our eating vendors within Ridgewood, whether they be restaurants, delis, they will actually be on our website probably by the end of the week, and it will show if they were satisfactory or conditional or unsatisfactory. So if you're going to eat in Ridgewood and you want to check the inspection report before you go, you'll be able to do so. So that should be on our website probably by the end of the week, as well as on the Facebook page. I want to mention that Restaurant Week, which is sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, continues tonight and tomorrow, and then next week, Sunday through Thursday. This information is on the Chamber's website, which is www.ridgewoodchamber.com. Please note that there are a few exceptions, but please call the restaurants with your questions and make reservations and enjoy. There are approximately 20 different restaurants. As well this year, they have a catering, about 3 catering facilities also, Chestnut Deli and Catering, Smoke to Go, and Endless Possibilities Catering, and then specialty foods and beverages, the Wine Cellar, Super Cellars Wine and Cheese, and then a sweet area category, which is Ben & Jerry's and Samba Bowls. So that's in addition to the many restaurants that are participating. So again, check the website for the Chamber and enjoy Restaurant Week.
Great. Council reports. Councilman Boyd.
I have nothing to report. The planning board meeting was canceled last night, so I'm assuming that schedule is just going to kind of be pushed back for everything else. Yeah. So good. That's it. Thanks.
Okay. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Last night, Ridgewood Environmental Advisory Committee and the Green Team met downstairs in the garden room. I'd just like to thank Director of Operations Rich Calby and Street Supervisor Dan Kiley for coming to our meeting. He had a great discussion of how we could help to promote recycling, and Dan reported back that they were looking into an app that we could use to help identify different things to recycle, because of course the market's changing, and through no fault of our own, China is the biggest purchaser of recycled material, and since they're kind of cracking down and they want cleaner stuff and better things, and certain plastics can't be recycling, it gets kind of confusing what to recycle and what not to recycle. So the app will be interactive. You'll be able to see updates as they happen, and it could kind of help sort of guide everybody through this as the market changes. And we also discussed further grant opportunities that we could go for through Sustainable Jersey, and that was about it. So that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Great. Councilwoman Walsh.
The only thing I have is tomorrow night is our citizen safety meeting. It is in the garden room downstairs at 7:30. And then on Tuesday, the 23rd, we have our artist series for Ridgewood Arts Council at 7:30 at the library, and the artist is Eric Coriel. That's all I have.
Great. Councilman Hachey.
Actually very recently from today, the Central Business District Advisory Committee held the first CBD Community Forum right downstairs in the Aunt Susie room. Very well attended. We're very happy with the attendance from the different businesses in town, both restaurants, retailers, service businesses as well. It was really a great initial discussion, and that is something that I think, was definitely necessary to have. We don't really get to hear much directly from the businesses. We hear a lot from residents, obviously. We hear a lot from commercial property owners, but the businesses themselves could be a function of the fact of them actually being busy running their businesses. But it was a great opportunity to really hear from them. We wanted to hear about what the challenges were they were facing. Part of the challenges were just sort of, change in preferences or changes in, that have been brought on by online shopping and all different things. And then we also talked about some of the opportunities as well. The best part of the discussion was that it was open, it was constructive. It was a very constructive discussion. Obviously, we talked about parking as well. And we started looking at also some of the other issues that are less related to infrastructure, probably more related to some of the ways that the village themselves can immediately start to help as well. And part of that is, to look at some of the ordinances that we have, how restrictive they can be on the businesses. So we're going to have the CBDAC start to look at some of those ordinances and figure out which are the ones that are immediately impacting the CBD. And from there, we're going to just continue the dialogue. I know that the time for some wasn't convenient. It was, 3 o'clock on a Wednesday. Some would have preferred it to be on a Monday. Obviously, depending on which business you run, if you run a restaurant, if you're in a retail shop, or if you're service industry, you would have a different preference. So we're going to have to tweak that in the future, maybe have multiple kind of sessions, whether it's monthly or quarterly, to continue the dialogue. But I was overall very happy with it. Mayor Knudsen was in attendance, Councilman Voigt was there as well. So very happy with it, and happy to report that it was a success. And then the other thing, I encourage everyone to take a look at the RHS alumni page. I was on there today to look at a video that was recently done, shot by a local resident, very talented in the, I guess, the drone genre. And very impressive. I mean, the Ridgewood High School is a beautiful building.
It is beautiful.
But the shots that this young man took of the property and panning in and out, and having a lot of the fellow alumni from Ridgewood High School speaking in the video was great. So I encourage everyone to take a look at it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I have to say, I agree. The drone video of the Ridgewood High School campus is beautiful. You don't really appreciate how gorgeous the campus is. I mean, you do appreciate it, but this particular drone shot is just beautiful. And as far as the CBD Advisory Committee Business District Forum goes, it was so well attended, and even on a snowy afternoon, when people are trying to run their businesses, I think there must have been every bit of 40 individuals there from different stores, businesses downtown, a few residents, and members of the CBD Advisory Committee. And there really was a tremendous amount of input. And when I thought really it was going to be all about parking, it turned out that it was so much more about their day-to-day existence and the tools that they need in the toolbox to be successful. So I think it was eye-opening and informative, and we will be meeting in about a month, and we're going to try and be very aggressive in giving them those tools that they need. So we look forward to that. I only have a couple of things. CRAB is meeting actually right now downstairs tonight. Community Access Network meets Thursday evening in the Mancuso Room at 7:30 p.m. HPC met last Thursday evening, and we had one really fascinating application, which is a house from the early 1800s at the corner of Glen and Saddle River Road. And the young homeowner is going to be doing a major renovation project on that particular house. There were a lot of historic photos, which is always exciting to see, and he's going to be very complimentary to and respectful of the historic structure and the house, so it's pretty exciting. And also there was two residents who had represented that they had a particular interest in a property at 315 East Glen, which is the subject presently of a subdivision application in front of the planning board. And their particular interest is that the original structure on the property was possibly part of the Underground Railroad and has significant historic value to our immediate community and the statewide, and also just the surrounding properties. So they're going to be providing some backup documentation. Presently, the property nor the house is designated with any historic significance, and so we'll be moving forward with that. It will still be the subject of a subdivision, but the subdivision has no impact on the actual original structure. Again, we believe it's from the early 1800s. It doesn't look like the original photos that were shown, so again, it's really exciting to see where this will take us. And with that, that's it for me. Okay? And now we'll be moving on to Ridgewood Water ordinances. I move the first reading of ordinance 3631.
Second?
Hache?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes, so ordered. Will clerk please read ordinance 3631 by title?
A bond ordinance providing for improvements to the car GAC treatment system in and by the village of Ridgewood in the county of Bergen, New Jersey, appropriating $3,570,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,570,000 bonds or notes of the village to finance the cost thereof.
I move that ordinance 3631 be adopted on first reading and that February 14, 2018 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second?
Hache?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes, and that's Valentine's Day.
Resolutions, the following resolutions numbered 18-02 through 18-09 will be considered on the consent agenda with the exception of 18-03, which will be considered separately and read in full. They will be read by title only. Award contract under state contract, chlorine analyzers and supplies. Award authorized change order, booster transfer station improvements. Reject bid, Cedar Hill Reservoir rehabilitation. Title 59 approval, Cedar Hill Reservoir rehabilitation. Award contract, Cedar Hill Reservoir rehabilitation. Reject bid, 2018 well improvements. And authorize temporary water capital budget. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Hache?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes.
I'm now going to read 18-03 in full. Whereas there exists a need for professional services for a public policy consultant for Ridgewood Water, and whereas the village council is satisfied that the firm of Morford Jewelers Associates is qualified to render the services required. Now therefore be it resolved by the village council of the village of Ridgewood, the mayor and village clerk are hereby authorized and directed to execute a no-bid contract for the public policy consultant to Morford Jewelers Associates, LLC, 308 West State Street, Trenton, New Jersey, for the trial period of 4 months in an amount not to exceed $13,600. Be it further resolved that a notice of this action shall be published once in the Ridgewood News, and be it further resolved that the finance director has certified that funds are available in account number 8-05-55-505-551.
Yeah, so I talked to Rich today about this, and I was looking for some kind of a deliverable, and I think he talked to you about what that would be, and if you want to go
Right.
ahead and read that, that would be great.
Basically, Mr. Calby couldn't be here this evening, but what he said is that, and I think he said this last week at the work session as well, but Councilman Voigt was not present at that time. It's really about building a coalition of similar utilities like Ridgewood Water, so we have a seat at the table when the elected officials in Trenton are considering new legislation and funding alternatives. this obviously won't be completed in the 4-month trial period, but at the end of this term, we'll know whether or not Mike Drulis is the right person for the job. So,
Yeah, so he had also, and I think he agreed to, is, at the end of this 4 months, there's going to be some kind of kind of a plan as to how we're going to go about this. So in other words, it's probably going to be a coalition of, like-sized municipalities are able to kind of, come together and be able to lobby. So the intention would be at the end of the 4 months is for us to have a good understanding of how putting the plan together, and then being able to implement it after that. And that's what I was looking for.
okay.
Okay? Thanks.
Okay. So, may I have a motion to adopt that resolution?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes. Okay, moving on. I move the first reading of ordinance 3632.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes, so ordered. Will the clerk please read ordinance 3632 by title?
A bond ordinance providing for the 2018 road paving program in and by the Village of Ridgewood in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, appropriating $2,160,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,052,000 bonds or notes of the village to finance part of the cost thereof.
I move that ordinance 3632 be adopted on first reading and that February 14th, 2018 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh? Yes. And Newton?
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3626 by title on second reading and that the public hearing thereon be opened. Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes, will the clerk please read title of ordinance 3626?
An ordinance to amend salary ordinance 3608, fixing the salaries, wages, and other compensation for white-collar employees of the Village of Ridgewood, County of Bergen, New Jersey. In reviewing this ordinance, we noticed that in Schedule H, which is for those employees hired on or after 11/1/2013, for the title of keyboarding clerk 2, there was an error. The low end of the salary range was actually lower than the previous 2 years. So it was written as $40,014. It should actually be $45,994. So I'd like a motion to please amend Schedule H of ordinance number 3626.
Is that me? Okay, I make a motion to, is it a motion or a move?
Want to move to
A motion
amend?
to...
Yeah, I want to move to amend ordinance 3626.
Okay, and then I need a second?
Second.
Okay, so this is for the amendment itself. Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
Okay.
Public hearing is now open on the ordinance as amended. I move the public hearing be closed. Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
You need a motion to adopt it as amended.
Okay, so do I, okay, I move, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused here.
You want to move the ordinance to be adopted as amended on second reading.
Okay, I move that ordinance 36 as amended be adopted on second reading. As required by law.
And final publication,
Oh,
right?
final publication is required by law. Okay. Second.
Okay. Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
Okay.
I move the clerk read ordinance 3627 by title on second reading of the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes, will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3627?
An ordinance to amend salary ordinance 3607, fixing the salaries, wages, and compensation for blue-collar employees of the Village of Ridgewood, County of Bergen, New Jersey.
Public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton? Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton?
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3627 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Ashe?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3628 by title on second reading and the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Ashe?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3628?
An ordinance to amend salary ordinance 3620, fixing the salaries, wages, and other compensation for non-union officers and employees of the Village of Ridgewood, County of Bergen, New Jersey.
Okay, public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Ashe?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3628 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Ashe?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3629 by title on second reading and the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Ashe?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
Newton.
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3629?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-29, Parking Meter Zone Designated.
Okay, the public hearing is now open. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Ashe?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3629 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
And second.
Bernadette, second.
Oh, I didn't hear
I
him.
didn't-
I'm
yes,
sorry. Ashe?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3630 by title on second reading and the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Ashe?
Yes.
Sedin?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh?
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3630?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, at Section 265-16.2, overweight and overlength vehicles prohibited.
The public hearing is now open.
I didn't expect to be here tonight, but I noticed that it was on the agenda. My name is Joseph Ferranti. I live at 610 Hillcrest Road in Ridgewood, and I'm pleased to see that this ordinance has been proposed. I just have a question regarding the dimensions. What finding of fact was there reached to support those dimensions? Can anyone help me with that?
So what was your question, Joe? I didn't hear you. What was the...
What was the basis, in fact, for the dimensions that the weight of 10,000 pounds and the length of 22 feet?
Yeah, it was done by our village engineer.
Back there, excuse me.
Yeah, it was done by the village engineer, and he actually allowed for a larger size pickup truck to be able to go up there, but not something like a tandem landscaper truck or a box truck or a tractor trailer truck. So that's basically what he based it on. So I think that he knows the length and he knew the weight, so nothing over those weights should be going up that hill or down the hill for that matter.
Was there any trial done by any vehicle of those dimensions, or was it merely?
If I may, I think it's safe to say that the experience that the village engineer has had with regard to dealing with different trucks on Glenwood, and those that have either gotten stuck or had problems and difficulty, I think based upon that experience and his involvement with this since the get-go, those are the reasons why he made those recommendations.
This is a conservative judgment on his part?
That one I can't tell you because that's kind of a discretionary term. Mm-hmm. I think it's based on what he knows about the vehicles that have gone up and down it and came to the conclusions with regard to this. I mean, it may be that other vehicles would not be appropriate on this, and we can always amend that depending upon what goes on over the course of the next 6 months.
Okay.
But as you know, we got a 6-month window in here, I think. So.
Okay, so it's subject to further.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Review.
So there's further discretion with regard to what might be appropriate on that street.
And I think we're monitoring this, and I just want to say that the village engineer really gave considerable thought to this based on his experience, so he was very thoughtful in it, and we will continue to monitor it during this 6-month period and moving forward as aggressively as we can.
Thank you. That was mainly the purpose of being here, just to establish that there was some fact-finding to support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay. I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh? Yes. And Newton?
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3630 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second the motion.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh? Yes. And Newton?
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3625 by title on the third reading and the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton? Yes. Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh? Yes. And Newton?
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3625?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 190 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood at Section 122E entitled Signs in the B1, B2, and C districts to create a new subsection 190-122E7 entitled Interior Displays and amend Section 190-3 entitled Definitions as it pertains to sign and add a new definition of interior display.
Okay. The hearing on ordinance 3625 was continued to this evening due to the fact that the village council is waiting for a response from the village planning board on this ordinance, which is required because it's amendment to land use ordinance. The planning board has not yet given any response to the village council, and therefore the public hearing is going to be continued again to February 14th, 2018, public meeting. Because the public hearing on ordinance 3625 was advertised for this evening, anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance may do so at this time. The public hearing is now continued. So, nobody? Okay. I move the public hearing on ordinance 3625 be continued to February 14th, 2018.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh? Yes. And Newton?
Yes.
The following resolutions, numbered 18-10 through 18-29, will be considered adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the village council. They will be read by title only. Authorize tax assessor, tax collector to file appeals and/or settlement stipulations. Approve renewal of liquor license, Rocco Berardi. Award of contract, maintenance of irrigation systems and water fountains. Award contract under county contract, rock salt. Award contract under state contract, software for document management system. Award contract under National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance contract, Phase 1 security improvements at Village Hall. Amendment to award of contract, emergency equipment for 2 police vehicles. Accept donations for community center from various groups and individuals. Accept donation for landscape elements. Approve use of Burbio app and authorize village manager to assist in implementation. Grant major soil moving permit. Accept and authorize execution of Bergen County Open Space Grant, improvement to Kings Pond Park. Extend suspension of ordinance for certain illuminated signs in the Central Business District. Certify compliance with federal civil rights requirements. Authorize removal of sycamore tree at Graydon Pool. Authorize temporary capital budget. Appoint registrar of vital statistics. Appoint members to Project Pride Committee. Approve renewal of liquor license, Maple Avenue Liquors, LLC, and appoint members to Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Board. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Hache?
Yes.
Seaton?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Walsh? Yes. And Newton?
Yes. And I just wanted to point out that we are now officially Burbio app city, and we have Ms. Martin here from Burbio. I don't know if you want to just say a few words or anything, or... I'll be looking for that little icon on our, is that what it's called, an icon? Okay. Okay, great. All right, with that, we'll go to public comments.
Okay, and you give her. No. Sure.
Good evening, Boyd Loving, 342 South Irving Street. I have some comments on Resolution 18-20, which is the soil movement permit resolution. The first one is that during the last meeting, during the workshop, there was some discussion about the speed bump, and that was to be included in the resolution at the request of the manager. I do not see that in the resolution, and I'm wondering what happened to that. My second comment is that on item number 5, it indicates that no trucking will be permitted on either Hudson Street, East Ridgewood Avenue between Broad Street and Maple Avenue in the village of Ridgewood. However, Prospect Street is a route that has been authorized, and I don't know how the trucks are going to get to the site if they come up Prospect Street and they're not allowed to make a left on Hudson. How are they going to get to the site? So it seems like the only way that you're allowing traffic on Prospect Street is southbound on Prospect Street. There is going to be no northbound traffic on Prospect Street permitted. Just a thought. You don't need to answer now, but if you're not going to let them make a left onto Hudson from Prospect, you're not going to let them come in that way unless they're going to make a left on Woodside and go around. That seems rather circuitous. So I'm not sure if that was done intentionally or that was in error. The other comment, just very minor, number 4, it discusses the school zones, and i.e. is that is. So it could be taken literally that these are the only school zones. Perhaps it should have been, for example, these aren't the only school zones in the village. There are other school zones in the village. If there's going to be no trucking allowed near any school zone, these should be as examples, not as gospel that these are the school zones that are permitted. So just a minor rewording there, if possible. My other comment concerns an email I sent to the manager on January 3rd concerning what I felt to be a hazardous condition on North Maple Avenue. It is now January 17th, and my understanding is that that hazardous condition has not been mitigated by the property owner, as the manager indicated would be done sometime the week after my email was sent. So I just encourage the manager again to follow up with that property owner. It is my belief that that is an extremely hazardous condition that could result in somebody's death. I understand that the police department has taken some proactive action in terms of placing a police car there temporarily, but still there is a property owner who is not following through on what they promised to follow through, and I would expect that the village follow up and try to get that situation mitigated so that that police car can get back into service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bill McCandless, 71 Ridge Road. With 1820 tells us the apartments are coming, and I'm wondering how the village is going to inform the many thousands of people in town to whom this will be a great shock, that the CBD will suddenly be run ragged with trucks. There needs to be some form of communication to those who have not spent the last 4 years here and at the high school having fairly impassioned arguments for and against said apartments. It's coming. It's a little bit of a light at the tunnel. I hope that the village finds a way to early and often begin to let people know what's going on. I hearken back to, of course, Garber Square, and when the only way that the majority of people on the west side of town knew that was going on was a giant sign that got dropped in. And suddenly we wondered what the hell was going on. And so it would be unfortunate if it was a shock, because these proceedings would be overwhelmed by people who would want to not only relitigate the entire process, which I would join them in, but would want to know every fact and opportunity around that. And so with all of the moving parts, I would press the village forward on finding a way to communicate early, often. Do what you know you need to do, which is over-communicate, and find a way to get that information out. At the same time, I would ask that the village start to be very transparent about what's going to happen at these intersections at a broad level. We know these intersections are all broken. All of the intersections around the apartments are broken. Each one of these intersections requires hundreds of thousands of dollars of work, which will have to be paid for by taxpayers. What is the progress towards that? We should be very transparent about how much the developers are putting into that. Where is this money coming from? How long will it take? And what is it going to look like? Again, this is all going to come as a giant surprise to a lot of people. The cost is going to shock people. The number of intersections that will be impacted is going to really shock people. I don't think it was until last year that we all realized that that Garber Square area was the most trafficked intersection in town. And we had years of council denying it. And so now we're uncovering some realities here, and we need to make sure that we're very transparent about what's coming, what happened, what's next, and what's it going to cost. Thank you.
So just, I'm going to just speak to that real quick because, and I'm going to ask Matt to weigh in. Right now, we're still in our court proceedings with that. But in terms of just the timeline, we're certainly going to be communicating with everybody by way of e-notice, social media, smoke signals if we have to. We'll certainly get the message out there. One of the things in terms of the intersections, we certainly recognize that we are really at substandard conditions for any of our intersections in that area. There have been some monies that have been agreed to by the developers, and that's just based on what's required by law. And beyond that, we're working with the county to see how we can move forward and not impact the village taxpayers, or to the extent that it will be a minimal impact. It is a county road. It's under the guise of the purview of Bergen County, so we anticipate that they will be assisting with that burden. And just, can you just bring us up to speed on where we're at with that, just so that everybody knows?
With regard to our affordable housing?
Right, yeah.
We actually have a case management telephone conference tomorrow at 3:30, so the timing on it is very good. What I foresee is that there's still a number of meetings that are mediation meetings that have to take place with the court-appointed master and Fair Share Housing Center to resolve some remaining issues with regard to our Fair Share plan. If we reach an agreement, then we proceed to what's known as a fairness hearing. I would expect that would be sometime in March or April. If you're going to ask if there's an estimated time in terms of when you might find a shovel in the ground, I would say that wouldn't probably happen until the summer months at the earliest. That's just my own estimate. I have nothing to base it on other than the proceedings and how long it takes everybody to get going. Obviously, the Dayton, which we dealt with tonight on the soil movement application, is really the first matter that's been approached to the council in regard to any development that's going on in any of these four different CBD developments. So in that regard, we're still a ways away, but certainly coordination, as Bill McCandless put out, but as the council's been aware of, coordination on these things is going to be key, not only with truck routes, but also timing of development, timing of construction, timing of the improvements to the intersections. So all those things are going to have to be coordinated, and everybody's going to have to, as much as we can, get everybody on the same program and timeline if we can. There's always going to be deviations from that, but we want to try and at least organize it as best as we can. And just with regard to the route with regard to soil movement permits are not usually worked out until you get down to the nitty-gritty at some point afterwards. I think I talked about that. Mm-hmm. That wasn't any reason to avoid putting some of the language in here that was pointed out to be deficient, and certainly those things could have been put in there, maybe made a little bit more clear, but at the same time, that route can still be defined and will be defined as this moves ahead. So, but that's usually not done until afterwards. But in any event, so those are all the different things that we've got to deal with. But right now we have our immunity to the end of February, and may even have to bump it to March or April, depending upon what happens.
And I did want to point out that last week anyone that was here certainly heard this council have a fairly lengthy and robust conversation about what routes should happen with trucks, what shouldn't happen, which streets, how many trucks, how big are the trucks, how often will they travel, what time should they travel, to the extent that a resident actually ridiculed us for being so deliberate in our attention to that detail. And that certainly concerned me. I appreciate what our village council is suggesting, that you don't work that out until the end, but I think this council made it very clear to everyone that our our first job is to protect our residents and the immediate surrounding areas, and certainly the pedestrian, the children, and everyone else. So our commitment is to our community first and foremost. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay. With that, we'll take a motion to go into closed session.
No, motion to adjourn. No closed.
No close. We don't have closed? Oh, wait, you know what? I was just turning the last page. Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
You sure you don't want your pen back?